If you want to apply some formats to your text here, like let's say you wanted to make the text bold or underline or italicize or just change the font or add color to it, it's very simple. First of all, in your document you want to select the text that you want to change the formatting for, and then up in the Home tab in the font group, it's all right there. You can change the Times New Roman. In fact, what's pretty fun is when you hover over the different types of fonts here, if you look over to the right, it starts updating it depending on what we select. So watch it over there, and you can see that. That's pretty fancy. A quick way of getting to the font that you'd like is, say, I'm going to type in the letter M in here, O-N-O, to monotype Corsiva. It takes me right to it, and you can see it's highlighted. So I click on it, automatically updates it, and then I can click on B for bold, I for italics, and U for underline, and maybe give it some color. The color has the New Word 2007 themes, which is a nice little shade of colors here. Or you can go with your primary colors, or you can change to go to more colors. Got something of a color wheel here. And then your customization, which is your red, green, and blue, different numbers here. You can go ahead and type those in, or just use the arrows, or click and drag, and you'll get your numbers, and click OK. I'm going to click Cancel, and I'm going to click on the arrow again next to the font, and choose the color red. So here we've got 1. You can see it's highlighted because the formatting's applied to that text that I've clicked on. B for bold, I for italics, so there's 3, and there's 4, red, and also there's 5, a different type of font. So now if I want to go ahead and take all those 5 different formats and apply it to the next, step 2, export your video, instead of selecting it and going through all that again, I can actually click anywhere in the format that I want to copy it. First you have to click in it, and then you can come up here in the clipboard group under the Home tab and click on the paintbrush. Once you click on it, you can go ahead and select your next text and let go, and it'll actually copy that format that you had your mouse flashing in. When you clicked the paintbrush, it copied it, and then you just had to paint over the text that you wanted to copy that format or paste it to. Now, what if we have a lot more to do? It's going to be very annoying by clicking in here, clicking on the paintbrush and pasting, clicking on the paintbrush and pasting, because you know you can only do one job with your paintbrush, because after you click and drag, the paintbrush disappears. But what if you want to keep that paintbrush up so you can do more and paint more text or apply the formatting to the text? Well, again, make sure you click in the format that you want to copy here in this text. Instead of single clicking on the paintbrush, double click. When you double click, it keeps that paintbrush up forever, that formatting paintbrush. So you can scroll down in here and you can just keep clicking and dragging, and it'll keep applying that format that you selected or had your cursor flashing in. Now, to get rid of this, you can do one of two things. You can see my brush is still up here as I move my mouse around. You can hit Escape on the keyboard, or just come up here and click on the paintbrush once, and it gets rid of it. Double click to paint forever, hit Escape, and you can see it's no longer highlighted, so I can go ahead and move around freely. Okay, some more shortcuts. Let's go to the beginning of our document. Now, down below each paragraph, it looks like hyperlinks. I can change them into, like, read the review on how to capture your video or check the latest prices on camcorders. Let's say we just want them underlined. Well, that's pretty simple, right? Just click and drag, and then click on the U for underline, or click and drag and do the shortcut key, Control U on the keyboard, and underlines it, right? Well, that takes a few more steps than I care for, especially all I have to do is click and drag and hit the key F4 on the keyboard. Now, the F4 key remembers the most recent formatting just applied. So if you were underlining and you select some text and hit F4, it remembers that and it'll underline it for you. Now, if you try to do a lot of things at once, this F4 key won't work if you try to do bold, italics, underline. Now, what's the most recent one I just did? It was underline, right? It doesn't remember all of the 3 formats that I just applied to it, so when I hit F4, it just remembers the most recent, that was underline. Now, F4 can remember all of the edits, but you have to go to a special place in order to make that happen. Otherwise, it just remembers the most recent. If you want to remember all the formats that you applied, then you have to go up to the font group here and click on the expandable dialog box button and do all your formatting within here. Because once you do all your formatting in here, you change the font. Well, let's go ahead and change it to something, and then make it bold, and we're making more changes, and we're changing the color. Oh, that looks fine. In any case, when you make all these changes, when you click OK, it sees it as 1. So I click OK. There it's applied. Now if I go ahead and select something down below and hit F4, it applies all those changes, because when I hit OK, it remembered all of those changes I made as 1, as the most recent change, if that makes sense. Going to hit Control Home to go to the beginning of the document. We've got our main title of our document up above. I can go ahead and click and drag, select it. Of course, make it bold, make it a little bit larger here. Also, I can change all this to uppercase if I'd like by clicking on the Change Case button here and say I want it all uppercase. Makes it look a little bit nice. Finally, if I wanted to clear all this formatting, and you can see what a monstrous pain this would be if I wanted to clear all the formatting tied to this text here, because I'd have to click on B for bold to unbold it, click on I for italics to unitalicize it. Takes too long. I'll undo that to bring all of the formats back, and then what I'll do is select it, and up here in the font group we've got your clear formatting button. Click on it, clears the formatting, makes it really nice. I can come down here, select it, hit F4 on the keyboard. F4, as you recall, remembers the most recent thing that you've done, and it was clear formatting, so it cleared it for us. Now, one more interesting thing, the most recent thing I did was clear the formatting, right? So if I come down here, remember your undo button and your redo button? Well, the redo button, the Control Y, will actually repeat what I just did on the F4 is clear the formatting, so that will also clear it. And in any case, anytime you make a mistake, you delete something, you can click undo, and if you want to redo what you just undid, you can click redo. The other thing you can do is you can highlight your text just as you would by taking out a piece of paper, grabbing a marker, and highlighting it on the piece of paper. You can do it in Microsoft Word here. Go ahead and select your text, and you can either come up here in the font group and click on the drop down arrow and select your favorite color to highlight. You can also select other text and click on the highlighter button, and it'll highlight that as well. Or you can click and drag, and as you start moving over to the right, the shortcut box starts to fade into view, and you can use the highlighter here as well. Select no color, gets rid of it. If you have a job to do here with highlighting everything in red, go ahead and select the color red, and you can see that the button is faded in orange. That means the button's active. And as I move my mouse around, you can see I got my highlighter here. I can just click and drag and keep highlighting everything. To get rid of the highlighter, you can hit escape on the keyboard, or you can just come up here and click on that button once, and now I can click and drag and it no longer highlights. You can click and drag and select the whole paragraph. You can also right click, and it brings up our little shortcut font box. You can click on the drop down arrow and select no color, and it gets rid of everything that I've highlighted that had color in it. And finally, if you want to review all the formatting that's actually tied to your text here, because when you click in the middle of the text, not everything in this font group is going to be shown, especially if I have different features that are applied. Like click on the expandable dialog box button. You can emboss, engrave, small caps, shadow. I'm going to click cancel. You won't see that up here, but if you want to reveal the formatting, just go ahead and highlight it here, the text that you want to see exactly what formatting is tied to it. And then up in the styles group on the home tab, click its expandable button here. And then down at the bottom there's a button here that shows Style Inspector, and then of course over here it tells us exactly what styles applied to it. 16 point size or font size, it's bold, it's black, it's centered. However, we can take it one step further with the Style Inspector. We can actually click on the Reveal Formatting button, and then what that does is it pulls it over here and it breaks it down. Whatever is selected here is the style, and I can click in other parts of the document and you can see it highlights the only style that's applied to it, even the one that's underlined here. And then when I'm finished, I can go ahead and close out. Before I close out, you can also clear the paragraph formatting. Close out of here. If I come back up here, again, you can clear the formatting by clicking on the button up here, but in Microsoft there's more than one way to do things. You can also come over here and right click and clear the formatting as well. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.